Green angle, always interesting. Better. All right. My name is Daniel Young. I'm the owner and founder of Adapted Perspective and the Adapted Perspective channel here on YouTube, where I help you make your dreams a reality. Uh, Making more closed-end fund videos. So the stock market investment strategy using closed-end funds represents just one way how we're going to accomplish our dreams. And if you want the full methodology, our 12 steps to financial freedom, then head to Facebook and check out my group there called Navigate Your Finances. My page information will be in the description of this video, but YouTube has taken to not liking external links. But on that page on Facebook, uh, complete title, Adapted Perspective, Navigate Your Finances. I break out the whole system and hand it away free. So reminders first, this is an unedited video, so who knows what you'll hear in the background as I film these in my house. 5 minutes ago, we were cleaning up cat barf, so who knows what you'll hear tonight. And that I am not a financial advisor, I am a financial strategist. So I don't speak like the herd, I walk in limited company. You're not going to hear me say the same stuff that you're going to hear on all those little financial talk show circuit junkies. Uh, or circuit jockeys, and sometimes I walk alone. So our self-managed closed-end fund portfolio is built on lasting dividends, not the gradual sell-off of funds. That's very different than the current standard financial advice. But that means the day-to-day pricing or the week-to-week pricing doesn't stress me out. I mean, our portfolio has money in it. I mean, it's kind of rough to watch it go up and down in value or perceived value, but our portfolio is based on dividends. So here's how we strategize. We play the long game. The market looks at today's pricing, but the market and the investors overall are looking decades down the line. The new investors, the people who are dumping money into the market in the greed cycle when everybody else is already in the market, and the kids that are first to leave when there is show of fear, those are the people that are widely swinging the market. So if your portfolio value is based upon those wide swings or those wide swings, the wide arcs of the pendulum, it makes for a lot of stress, makes for a lot of fear. So we dodge that. So we play the long game. We're buying today. We buy the best discounts we can today. We get the best bang for our buck, the best deal for our money today that will also help us 40 years from now or 30 years from now. It is a no withdrawal portfolio. It's designed to fund or supplement a retirement through dividends instead of slow cash outs of principal. So we buy and hold. Now, I'm not saying we buy and hold everything. If you pay attention as I scroll through our portfolio here in a little bit, you'll see some things are marked to sell. And we're not going to sell it and cash it out, like take the money out. We're going to sell it and reinvest all the money. So it's part buy and hold, but also part rollover. All the dividends get reinvested. Anything we sell, anything that liquidates on its own, when we get that money, we reinvest it. We target 9% plus dividends, not the 0.5% crap you get with Apple. We own several closed-end funds that own Apple and pay a lot higher than a 0.5%. So we buy in fear. The only accurate thing I've seen on CNN is their fear and greed index. And I'm not saying it's completely right, but it is a decent indicator of the market. And right now it's in greed because the Fed has stalled rates. And if the Fed cuts rates, which I don't think will happen till later, but if the Fed cuts rates, then that little ticker is going to go to extreme greed. And whenever they readjust and reset or something crazy happens, and that ticker will switch back into fear. And then when it hits fear, that's a great time to buy. If it hits extreme fear, that's an even better time to buy. And then when it switches all the way to greed or extreme greed, it's still a great time to buy, but you have to ensure you get a great discount. So buy in fear, right? Buy more in extreme fear. But if you're going to buy right now, then you have to get a discount. And in doing that, we don't pay premium. Now we might not, say this well, we might not always get the lowest discount. Some funds rarely hit discount. So even though they are 0.5% in discount, by comparison, that's still a crazy deal for that one fund, right? Compared to a different fund we'll look at today, who's got a 28% discount. So how do we do it? So the specific strategy, which I'll show you, based on our strategy, where would I park money if I was buying something on Monday? So let's look at the market at large. The Fed has stalled rates. Rates last week, in the course of 3 days, dropped almost 0.5%. So instead of, say, home buyer paying, I don't know, maybe low sevens, you're now looking at 6.5% on a new home without any kind of other buy down. That's really, honestly, that's huge. It doesn't seem like a lot, but there's a huge difference between 7% and 6.5%. What else is going on? Let's see, the Fed meets this week, or I guess the Fed meets either this week or later this week, and pending the economic information, um, housing, manufacturing, overall consumerism, um, the Fed's favorite inflation gauge numbers come in saying that, I guess the prediction will be that a 6-month annualized inflation rate would be 2%. Now, you and I both know that inflation sits higher than 2%, but based on whatever data they're getting, if it puts the ballpark of a 6-month annualized inflation rate near 2%, they're going to say, hey, look, we did our job. And most people will say, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And it'll bolster sentiment and it'll improve everybody's mood and it's going to push more money into the market. See what else? The others can wait. So knowing that, so if the Fed stalls rates, which they have, and rates in general go down, which they have, before the Fed cuts rates, where would be a good place to park money? So, excuse me, uh, like Brett Owens says, Brett Owens runs the Contrarian Outlook. Okay, and he has a saying called "Bull or Bear, I don't care." And why is that? He has his strategy, but then mine is we buy discounts. And I mean, you can talk to anybody. Would you rather pay full price or buy a discount? Would you rather pay something? Would you rather pick an item? Would you rather buy this cup for more than it's worth? Or would you rather buy it for less than it's worth? Everybody wants a good deal, but not all discounts are the same. So I don't know how much the Fed's going to cut rates this year. I've seen rate cut predictions anywhere from 3 to 6. I've seen that happening anywhere between April and August. Me personally, I think it'll happen around April. Um, that way you get right before summer. It'll spark another housing rush and it makes the Fed look really good before the next election cycle and the debates. So with all that in mind, I would put money, like if I'm buying Monday, and I'll show you exactly what I would buy Monday. If I'm buying Monday, I'm buying bonds, real estate, oil, energy infrastructure. If it comes with technology, I'll get technology, but technology wouldn't make the top list. Uh, but I would look at bonds, energy infrastructure. So that would be oil, utilities, energy transfer. You look at private equity or business development companies. You look at real estate, you look at banks, you look at data and communications, like technology based, but not outright like technology and infrastructure based. Um, it's not like buying Google, it would be like Google Cloud. Like who's handling the data and the transference of data and the storage of data and the maintenance of data. It's that kind of thing. And then tech overall is still overpriced to me. Consumer is not my favorite category, but you could argue that all of those things are consumer based because they're all cyclical. I don't like the consumer category because there's so much inside of it. It's too volatile. Um, there's honestly too much blending between categories. Like everything's consumer based, housing and business development and that grill and technology, and it's too much. Um, but I'm looking at bonds, energy infrastructure, and almost everything else besides technology and consumer. So where does that leave us? Let me share my screen and you can see what I see. So this is the closed-end fund master, and it has all of these tabs. It's overall companies to track or like take note of, I guess you could say. All closed-end funds, our portfolio last year, our dividend history from last year, our portfolio from this year, our dividend history from this year, and then the last several videos for YouTube. This is what it was about a month ago, and it really didn't change for about the last month. Um, and this is based on just the best deal, but also based upon our portfolio. So we own everything in blue. Everything in purple is recommended by somebody I trust. Everything green is interesting. So how do we sort it? By discount. But it's not just by discount because some of these companies are not the greatest. Like they don't meet our strategy. Like I don't want an annual dividend or a monthly dividend. I'll take a quarterly dividend. We do have some quarterly funds, but I don't want a one time a year annual dividend. That doesn't beat well. Um, I don't like this company's strategy. They pay an amazing yield, and they have a crazy discount. But having owned that company, I don't like their strategy. So I pre-rank, which I'll get to. Current just means we already own it. So all of these companies, let me go back to that page. All of these companies meet a specific standard. All the buy alerts mean that the current discount is double the historical discount, and it's greater than the company's 5-year discount. So historically, like this company, historically, the overall discount is negative 13% off. So instead of paying $1, it's like paying 13 cents off, like 87 cents instead of a full dollar. So currently it's 40 cents off. Well, that's double the historical discount. It's also greater than the 5-year discount. So instead of paying $1, you're getting that company for 60 cents. So this is what the company's worth. And for any number of reasons, this is what it's currently selling for. Closed-end funds work on a limited fixed number of shares. Like Coca-Cola can automatically add more shares out of nowhere, and it has no bearing upon the shares already bought or the remaining shares. Like if the shares are whatever it is, $55 a share, they could create 10,000 more shares. It does not devalue the existing shares. It just everything stays the same. Closed-end funds, it's a closed supply. It's a closed system. So when things are popular, right? And the discount shrinks, like the end of the list, right? So instead of paying, gosh, uh, easier math. So instead of paying a dollar, right, you're paying $1.04, right? Or $1.10, $1.20, gosh, $1.60, or just a lot more. Okay. Or you could buy the discount. So if the fund has a premium, right, people are paying for more than it's worth, either there aren't many shares available, maybe there aren't any shares available. Somebody has to sell one in order for you to buy one, right? And they're not going to sell it for what it's worth. They're going to sell it for more than it's worth, which would rely on you buying it for more than it's worth. Discount for any number of reasons, um, any number of reasons, but you could buy the discount. So why not buy the discount? Like, why pay something? Why pay what it's worth or more than it's worth? Why not buy it at a discount? And for Coca-Cola, if it's going to pay quarterly, I can find a monthly or quarterly closed-end fund that has Coca-Cola, that has a cheaper buy-in, a more frequent dividend, a better dividend, something that'll maintain a dividend. And even if the stock value goes up and down, just like Coca-Cola, they still pay a better dividend. So if we go over here, all of these funds meet the parameters. They're all double the historical discount, and they are more than the 5-year discount of that one fund. The only one that additionally made the list is this one, and it's not for the outright reason you think. It's not a discounted fund, but this fund generally sells for a 7% premium. Now, I am not suggesting that I buy or that you buy this fund in premium, whether it's 40 cents, right, or say zero point 0.4. So that's not even a cent, right? Like if you bought it, it would be like paying a dollar point under a cent. So there are some that would say, well, it's pretty much break even. We don't buy premium, no matter what it is. Now, if this dropped, so that's not much difference, right? Let's say this dropped. Oops, I updated the wrong column. Okay, now it's in discount. But what I want to show you is, as good a fund as Mario Gabelli runs, it pays 15 cents a dividend. It pays 15 cents a share every quarter versus what my suggestion is going to be, pays 8 cents a month. So in 2 months, you out earn what you would get quarterly. So I'm not saying it's not a good idea. I'm just saying you need to know your strategy. If you're okay with quarterly dividends instead of monthly dividends for whatever reason. Now, maybe, and I already looked, I know the answer. Maybe he pays hidden dividends, like it's a hidden yield. It's a consistent quarterly dividend, but he pays end of year dividends. Or um, he'll pay frequent special dividends, which he hasn't for a while, right? So if it's the if it's the obvious dividend, but at the same time you're getting a hidden dividend on the back end, then yeah, maybe that would be worthwhile because it would give you a better overall annual dividend. But on a monthly basis, what I'm going to suggest, which you already know, is I can out earn monthly what I can get quarterly. So targets, they all meet the discount threshold. Like these are all significant discounts. So I query out by yield, but I'm also going to go ahead and eliminate that. So we're targeting 9 and above. I will also tell you, we're not targeting anything. Ugh, not what I wanted, but with live video, you get to see all my mistakes. So we're not going to target anything we don't already own unless it gave us a better deal than what we already have. But junk bonds, not interested. I generally don't buy anything over $16 a share. Calamos has been on the hit list a while, but that doesn't give me anything better than what I already bought. And I know that because I covered that the last two videos. And it goes back to quarterly. Now it pays a hefty quarterly amount. Uh, let's see. Real estate, preferred shares, like it could be decent. Um, but at the same time, this would out earn it based on the quarterly statements. That's a, it's kind of like a category three. It's an off category three. Category three would be 36912. So you kind of get an alternate category three. We can double check this accuracy. I will be the first to tell you that I don't, yep, 0.17. And we can check distributions. Yep. So maybe you could make the assumption in the current rate market, their overall distribution has dropped and it would do better in a better rate market. But honestly, so should everything else. It is still heavily preferred. And they own a lot of great stuff. Yeah. They own a lot of great stuff, but everything on the list is great as it is. And it's no longer 9%. So where does that leave us? I think since everything is great and we're trying to get the best we can for what we have, and this is everything on this list is in our portfolio. So what we already have, my goal has been to hit everything at 200 or more of what we're keeping long term, unless we already have more of it. And I just evened KYN out between the videos, maybe 2 weeks ago. 56 and change. Um, I want to sell this company that it's a dividend reinvestment plan, but it's an auto dividend reinvestment, meaning you get the dividend and they take it back and they give you more shares. So I never actually see the dividend. It's not exactly conducive to my needs. Um, this is great, but it's currently almost $1 more than what we already bought it for. This fund looks amazing, but their dividend history is sketchy. They fluctuate so much um, that it's not in my best interest to add more right now. And that one is out long term. So bonds, energy infrastructure, and everything else besides technology and consumer. So my goal has been to hit everything at 200. So this is what we got: business development company or private equity, energy infrastructure, bonds, uh, senior loans, loan obligations, banking and convertibles, uh, bonds, real estate, data, communications, and energy infrastructure. And it's senior loans that like the aggressive Fed plus their own portfolio of closed-end funds. So the prices dipped a little bit as the Fed has relaxed a little bit, but it still fits the category. But there's really only one fund that I would buy if we were buying tomorrow because of the discounts. And it's the second in line discount still behind this one, but it would round out our long-term investments to 200, and then I could kind of reevaluate strategy. Now, you could argue that I could buy like 100 of these, right? Because that's eight. That would be but like 6.5-ish. Oops. Right. We can even look at that's less than this. And surprisingly, the annual dividend is pretty decent. The dividend together, right, would be higher than that. Um, I don't know. Long term, I don't know. My desire has been to round out the 200, but now that I'm playing devil's advocate with myself, convertible going into a Fed rate cut could be interesting. I like this company. I'm not thrilled about that dividend because everything out earns that dividend. I mean, everything on this list out earns that dividend. So that's not much difference between these two. And last year they paid a special dividend. I don't know if they'll pay it this year. These are interesting, but I think it's just the OCD in me would be more tempted to even this out than buy something different. Now, that being said, because I do like a good counter argument, that would be my first choice. But these would be a good backup, and that would be a good backup. But this less so. Originally, it was built on, it was a fund that loves an aggressive Fed. And we've seen an aggressive Fed the last 2 years, last year and a half. But I think they sensed the oncoming change and then they built out they have a hefty internal closed-end fund portfolio. And being a closed-end fund person, that's appealing. I mean, I can own that and own half maybe not half, a quarter of closed-end fund market through one company. That's appealing. So interesting. That was going to be my suggestion until I saw the list and went, devil's advocate, not always the best thing. Yeah, it's a coin toss. I would not, that's tempting, but it would be a coin toss between these two, and then maybe the BRW, maybe, out of curiosity. So oddly enough, all right. So if you don't have a closed-end fund, where would you go? I would still say you pick here. Consistent monthly income run by a great manager who also helps with this company, who pays a consistent monthly dividend and actually increased the dividend last year. And they pay a special dividend, or at least they've paid a special dividend. We'll see if it happens this year. Energy infrastructure and utility, great company. Supposedly will increase their dividend and make it 0.22. which is still far under the original, well, their general dividend of like 45 cents. Business development company, always a good idea. I love the company. I love what they own. Um, I just wish they paid, excuse me, I wish they paid more per share. Um, I like these banking funds, especially the convertible amounts where they can switch between stocks and bonds. Um, yeah, devil's advocate. I make these videos to help people, but also help better explain my own tactics, which then uh, kind of reaffirms or confirms my strategy for myself because I am a devil's advocate kind of person. Like, if this, okay, well, why not that? So, I'm still here. But if you want to make a counter, that's a good counter in combination. You also, the other caveat to that is, I mean, you're buying 200 shares for $630 versus 50, right, for here. We ballparked at 50, 409 compared to roughly the same, maybe not exactly the same. That's still a better dividend. So if we are gonna, do devil's advocate, we're better off comparing apples to apples, not so much dividends. So if we do 50 shares, that is still a little bit more. That's still a little bit less. You get a little bit less in dividend. You get a little bit more in dividend. All of them are great dividend buys. All of them are great discounts. But what fits our needs the best outside of just portfolio or the evening out of our portfolio is you get bonds, but you also get real estate and communications and energy. And that I like the combination leading up into the year, regardless of what the Fed does. But also, if the Fed does cut rates, everything should get better. But bonds and real estate and communications and energy should get better as well. So you got to factor with the Fed in a little bit. I mean, because that, regardless of how much you like their control, the Fed does influence pricing, which the Fed knows they influence pricing. But in the current market, looking forward 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road, all of those things, bonds, bonds, highly dependent upon what the Fed does, but just a great value on their own. But then real estate, communications, and energy will all be needed and will all increase in price as we go down the road. So that is my pick. Um, if you don't have a closed-end fund and you wanted a place to start, I would say start here. We'll say no CEF here. Me, this. Because it fits my strategy and it fits our portfolio and it fits our needs. What it would be in January? Good question. We'll see what the market is between now and then. Uh, yeah, but picks wise, that's my pick. And I'll be honest, going into this video, it was this big. And even during the course of this video, for us, that's still the best option for us. So that is my pick. Uh, and those are really, all of them are great options for the week, but that's my pick for the week. So between now and Christmas, you have a week as of Monday to finish out your shopping. Gentlemen, do not be the stereotypical guy and don't and have no contributing part of buying gifts. Go buy your gifts, right? Um, take time away, go buy the gifts, whatever you're going to buy, or make the gifts, right? But don't do nothing. Don't sit back and let somebody else do it. Get involved, have fun. Um, I plan on making another one of these videos next week. We'll see. I mean, between Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve, I'll probably make a video because I do update the spreadsheet, but we'll see how that looks. And in the meantime, enjoy the week, enjoy the ramp up to Christmas, whether you celebrate it or not. Enjoy the ramp up to Christmas, and enjoy your family. And as for the stock market, know your strategy, whatever that is. Know your strategy before you invest. And if you don't know what you're doing, then don't feel like you're inept. Just realize and admit, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, well, then go read more. Buy a book, find a blog. Uh, my page on Facebook has information about the stock market. If you search navigate your finances and then look under the files, there's a giant file called stock market terminology. That's a great place to start. If you want to know more about closed-end funds, look at my past videos, but really like the videos where I started. This is the overall like 74th overall financial strategy video that I've put on YouTube. And if you start at the beginning of everything, you'll get a lot more overall, I'll say like an overview, overall content regarding closed-end funds compared to the market at large. Um, where's my mouse? There we go. Um, but yeah, but as for the week, so as we approach this week, which is the last week leading up to Christmas, and then as we approach the next week, which is the last week leading up to New Year's, as you look ahead to the new year and you look where you're headed, you are the captain of your ship. Know where you're going. And if you have no idea where that is, then it's a great time to figure out where you're headed and why. And if you have no idea what that means, if that just sounds kind of weird to you, if you've never heard anybody talk that way, come find me on Facebook. And I talk about why, and I talk about financial freedom, and I talk about our quest, our adventure, what we're doing for our version of financial freedom. And I break it down of how you can do the same thing. So you're the captain of your ship. You have the power to change your life and your financial future. A lot of people will offer to help you, but you've got to be the one to make it. You've got to be the one to make the decision, and you've got to be the one to do it. Whatever you want, if it could have already happened, it would have already happened, but it hasn't. And it's not going to happen unless you make it happen. So have a good week, everybody. I wish you well. If I don't make another video, which I think I will, but if I don't make another video, I hope you have a great Christmas Eve and a great Christmas Day. And if I make another video, then I'll see you then. But until the next video, have a great week. If you need some financial advice or financial strategy, come find me on Facebook and let's talk. Just search navigate your finances and you will find my page. And if you hear the background noise, then the cats are going nuts and my girls are waiting on me to do bedtime. So y'all have a great evening. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.